China is competing with open weights and open training data, and the US is largely and majority focused on closed weights, closed data. That means that the majority of the world, think of it as the Belt and Road Initiative, are going to use Chinese models and not American models. We better also be competing with the Chinese in day-to-day stuff. Their work ethic's incredible, they're well-funded. It's not the crazy valuations that we have in America.
Right.
They can't raise the capital, but they can win across that.
Former Google CEO Eric Schmidt giving a chilling warning. If America does not rethink its AI strategy fast, China could control the future of artificial intelligence. And while he pushes for a new game plan, companies like OpenAI and NVIDIA are throwing billions of dollars to keep the U.S. ahead in the AI race. But critics argue it looks more like a hype bubble than an actual strategy. Both of those things can be true at the same time. Chris, how do you differentiate what is going on? And I don't know if Eric Schmidt is actually the voice of knowledge on this, because quite frankly, Google, which he ran, is really struggling with an AI strategy. I know that they have plenty of money to burn, but what they destroyed their their search business, and it's just a morass. It's called the innovation of their customers. But I digress. But how do you see this world and put Schmidt's comments in perspective?
I would offer two observations. The first is when you look at the domestic industries within China, it's a reason why the market there has been so hot for 2 years. I mean, the Chinese stock market has outperformed the NASDAQ over the last 2 years because Chinese tech, Chinese semis, Chinese software has really been the baton leader of the move that you've seen there. So certainly there's some protection of the domestic industries in that part of the world that seem to be reflective in the prices of the stocks. I say second, when we think about the AI landscape domestically, I'm still very reminded of what the internet landscape looked like 97, 98, 99, 2000, that we would not know who would become the great internet companies of the true internet cycle. And nor do I think we know who are going to be the great AI stocks of this cycle. I think that's to come.
Yeah, I mean, and that competition ultimately, I believe, is good, even if it does come from companies in China. You're going to get better competition, more innovation. You know, the thing is, because China lacks so much of the intellectual property protection that is afforded in the U.S., my guess is that you might see some technology developed in China, but it'll ultimately come to fruition and come to market in the U.S., which has those protections on intellectual property.
I don't know if Schmidt's right. I'm with you. I don't know if he's right, if I should believe his foresight on this. But if he's, to borrow de Blasio's phrase, directionally correct on this, does it sort of indict the top-down nature by which a lot of the artificial intelligence work is being done in the U.S.? In other words, we don't have any capital constraints. We're like doing this unconstrained. So much money, so much brain power going into artificial intelligence to create the big thing that's, you know, that artificial general intelligence, right? That's what everybody here is pursuing. Are the constraints in China, because they're not top-down led, actually causing companies there to create more usable stuff that's going to have a bigger impact on people's lives? Like, are we actually pursuing like a China strategy here, and they're pursuing a more entrepreneurial, more constrained strategy?
Yeah, Brian, it's a great question, and I think when you look at the history of China, basically post-WTO, it has been central planning, it's been government planning, right? And I think what you have to say here about AI, let's have the U.S. government buy the coffee and the donuts and then step aside. Right? If we're truly going to win the AI race, we do not want government's fingerprints on it. You'll get worse outcomes. The history of capitalism has shown us that. So I think it's best for the U.S. government to step aside, let the Chinese make the mistakes they typically make, which is central planning.
Yeah, I mean, the most prosperous country has always been the most free, especially when it comes to something like technology. I mean, no other country in the world can even hold a candle to our technology sector. It's not, I don't think it's any surprise. It's one of the least regulated sectors of the entire American economy.
I'm on board with the theory that we have to do it and we have to do it first, because even in the infancy of AI, I see things online that scare me. I see memes or different things. I'm sorry, I'm calling it a meme. Maybe it's not a meme, but they're digitally, artificially created images that I can't tell the difference of whether it's real or not in some cases. And there is a danger element to all of this too, that I think we've sort of got to get our heads around before they get access to the technology. But then I also think about TikTok and the deal that was just done and how valuable that algorithm was. I don't think everything is going to just be, able to be copied the same way we made such a big deal and said, well, if we get TikTok without the algorithm, we're not going to ever be able to replicate that in the same way that they did. So I think that the investment that we're doing here is for a valid reason. It is for to be able to control. It is for to be able to have guardrails in place, because I think that the scope this has is far bigger than what can be acknowledged or understood or, get your head around kind of right now.
I just wonder if China's going faster because they're doing smaller things in a faster, iterative way, and they're pushing them out to people and influencing people.
But we're doing that here. We just don't see it or talk about it.
Well, maybe that's it. I don't know what it is. Yeah.
I mentioned the NCP servers that people are using. They're like apps and agents that you just plug in to your like large language model, like Claude Code, for example, and you just plug in to all of these different agents and apps that it's in essence an app that lets your Claude Code interact with like Crash Performance and Notion, and it is blowing up in the best possible way the way in which, say, coders operate. And it's happening rapidly, that we just talk about like these server farms and the vast spend. But we should talk about something that Jensen Huang said, that he said that calling someone China hawk is unpatriotic. He has, in essence, just called Josh Hawley and Tom Cotton unpatriotic people. And he's very pro-China, and he's running our biggest American company. And there's something going on there.
And the Intel CEO.
Well, I just found my new
NVIDIA
pickup line.
CEO.
No, I know, but I'm saying,
What's
and
your
the
Claude
Intel
code?
CEO. You've got a few of these guys.
It's troubling.